Welcome back everyone. So this is like a weird little rumor because there's very few times where Apple switches things up and then switches them back. You know what I mean? Like the butterfly keyboard, that was a pretty big mess up from Apple. They eventually returned back to the Magic Keyboard, which is really good. And there were a couple other times where they did this, but I just don't understand this new rumor. So John Prosser tweeted this thing out yesterday. I was shocked. It said iPhoneOS 14, and that's literally all it said. And now I'm not going to say everyone has a perfect track record, but you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And when I saw this, I was like, bro, there's probably, I don't know, I'm assuming they're probably not going to do it. But here's the thing. iOS used to be called iPhoneOS. iOS is short for iPhoneOS. That's why they have iPadOS now. But if they were to go back to iPhoneOS for iPhoneOS 14, I don't know how I would feel about it. I think I would feel away. I even tweeted out, and I probably shouldn't have. I said, I'll eat an AirPod if Apple actually switches out to iPhoneOS 14. And based off everything that I'm reading, I really don't think they are, dude. It really doesn't make any sense for them to do that. And I'm willing to, bet that I will probably not have to eat an AirPod, mostly because they're not going to switch back to it. You have to also keep in mind the branding aspect of it. iPhoneOS 14 is just so many syllables, it just doesn't even sound right, versus iOS. iOS sounds so nice, and of course that's not the only reason they're probably going to go and keep it, in my opinion. But there's also a lot of other things, like I said, brand recognition, that is a humongous one. iOS is already synonymous with iPhones, so it doesn't really make any sense for them to do that. But honestly, based off everything I've seen, it kind of does make more sense for them to actually switch to iPhoneOS. You look at iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, and then iOS, it doesn't really make any sense. That's the only way I see them going to iPhoneOS and then just making iOS basically like Apple's software standpoint. Basically iOS is all things iPhoneOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS. I think that's what they might end up doing if they were to do it. I don't think they're just going to switch to iPhoneOS just as a brim, just like out of whim, for no reason. But that's the only way I see them doing it, is if they actually go and switch up the other things and just make iOS the main thing, and iOS covers iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, and iPhoneOS. That's the only thing I see them doing. Other than that, I don't really see them switching to it, at least not yet. And it's just a naming thing, I don't want them to switch to iPhoneOS and then what's going to happen with iPods, are those going to switch to iPodOS? What about HomePods? You know what I mean? Is there going to be a separate OS for every single thing out there? I think HomePods already have their own OS, but even AirPod OS, are they going to have different software for everything? It doesn't make any sense for me, in my opinion. I think iOS is great. They should just stick to that naming, especially when I title these videos. I don't want to say iPhoneOS every single time. I just want to say iOS. It's short to the sweet, and I only have a certain amount of title characters I can put in my title for YouTube videos, so I think iPhoneOS is good, but I think iOS is perfect. It's so easy to just see and look at. But again, iOS is short for iPhoneOS, so all these years, iOS stood for iPhoneOS, so I don't really see why they would go to iPhoneOS when it already means iOS. iOS is a shortened version of iPhoneOS. It's like a nickname. It's like a nickname in a way, so I don't know what they're going to do, but I guess we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it. That's what we've seen. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.